Welcome to Transit Talk, Human Design Transits, real talk in real time. I'm Kathy.
And I'm Jess. We meet up about every 6 days to explore the current human design transits and how they're actually showing up for us in our lives. We'd love for you to join us.
We're talking energy in the moment, what we're feeling, what we're noticing, and what the transits are stirring up inside us and all around us.
So, whether you're joining us live or listening later, we're glad you're here.
Let's get into it.
Get into it.
Okay, so today we are talking about the transit of the sun in gate 4 and the earth in gate 49. So, Jess is representing formalization. You want to talk about that?
Yes, youthful folly, playful, gate of formalization. This one is one I know very well because this is a hanging gate I have, and I have everything else defined in my head, Ajna. And so for me, this one shows up as searching for those answers, trying to find the answers to all of the things in that openness. And so this is kind of like this energy that's fueled for this like doubt for the future, trying to find what are these answers, right? What are the things we're looking for? But then they also have to be tested and like validified as well. So finding the actual facts. So many questions.
I just want to clarify, you said it's a hanging gate you have. You have the opposite hanging gate. You have the
Yes,
63.
I
So
have the
it's a,
yes. Yes,
it's a,
it's
it's a
open.
one you're
Yes.
looking for.
It's
Searching.
yes. It's my munchies. This was my favorite thing ever. When Rod talks about that. Have you heard the munchies story?
I don't
Um,
know, maybe. I just
when
listened
he
to them
talks
talk
about the
about this
hanging
gate.
gate. Yeah. So thank
Oh,
you for, yes, clarifying that. So the hanging gate. So I have the other side of this. So I don't have the four defined. And
right.
so Rod talked about this is having the munchies. So you're walking around, you've got the munchies, and you see this delicious store, like the store with all these cookies and cakes and stuff. And there's a glass window, and you so badly want it, and you want to have what's there, but it's not yours because you have that like barrier to it. So feeling like this is the thing, but just knowing like you're absolutely perfect in your experience of it.
So you're talking about the munchies is the idea of wanting that other side. It's not
Yes.
the energy of gate.
Feeling.
Okay, because I was
No,
like,
no, no, no
let's
munchies. And well, I
talking.
for me, there's munchies there. I want to have those answers.
Now, I have gate 63 defined by my design Chiron, so it doesn't really define it in the same way, but I find, there's so much of this energy just in general in the world because it's logical energy, right? So gate 4 is really, well, we'll get into talking about that more. First, let me tell you, I am representing the revolutionary energy of gate 49, right? And that energy is also known as the gate of principles. So you can really think of this a lot as activism as well, right? So I am, does anybody know who I'm representing? I don't really have the hair for it. She doesn't wear glasses, but she's famous for her activism in her red coat with zip ties. And she did a thing called Fire Drill Fridays. And I just realized I didn't even check to see if we're live in the group. Um,
Let me
let
check.
Lisa in, but I'm wondering if anybody knows about Jane Fonda and Fire Drill Fridays. So Jane Fonda, most of us know as an actress. She's a famous actress, Grace and Frankie. She's in her 80s, and she famously, I want to say it was in 2019 or somewhere around there, but she's been an activist her whole life. She announced that this red coat that she was wearing at these environmental protests she was attending was going to be the last clothing item she ever purchased. She had two closets full of clothes, and she knew Greta Thunberg, who is also a great revolutionary energy to talk about. But I didn't really feel like I could represent that young of an energy. Maybe she had a big impact on Jane, and Jane was like, I don't need to buy any more clothes. She needed this red coat, she said, because something about the red and the standing out, and she got arrested every Friday at these protests. And so she used to show up bringing her zip tie handcuffs herself at times, but she would often leave with people like Ted Danson and one of the Arquettes and a bunch of different celebrities would all get arrested on Friday. And they called it Fire Drill Friday because they were trying to put out the fire of climate change. That's the kind of energy in this Gate 49. It's you're all in. You're willing to do whatever it takes for what your principles call you to do. And it's also known as the gate of marriage and divorce because you're
That's
all in,
a bunch of different.
whoops. Um,
Sorry, I'm in the Facebook group. It's coming through.
okay, so we're
You're
live.
everywhere.
Everywhere. So anyway, so that's why I represent, and this is a wool coat, so we'll see how long it lasts. But I did crank the down so I can wear a wool coat in August in Jordan. So yay, that's the energy of this. But if we want to back up and if you want to share your, oh, Lisa says she has 49.3 as her design sun and 4 as her radiance, her design earth. 4-3. Awesome. We'll get into talking about all that later. We're going to go through all this stuff first, and then we'll get people involved sharing more after we get through the cosmic weather and all that. If anybody else wants to jump on, just keep your cameras off until we get through the cosmic weather forecast, and then we'll all start chatting. So, do you want to share the
Yes, and I'd like to
forecast?
take a moment to celebrate. Ta-da! It's there. I got the hexagrams
Oh,
in here
yay!
too. I had to find different images and put them in, but voila!
Wow. Okay.
Look at this beautiful thing. Yeah, so
That
we
is
got
great.
everything on one page that I'm super proud of.
Yay.
So
Okay.
yeah, sun right now in gate 4 and the earth in gate 49. So gate 4 is known as youthful folly, formalization, and Karen Curry Parker calls it possibility. Here, when we're looking at the hexagram, just a quick reminder. So the solid line, that's the yang, and then the broken line, the 2, that is the yin energy. So we've got yin, yang, yin, 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 yang. And again, really cool because this is the opposite of the 49. In gene keys with gate 4, we've got the progression from intolerance to understanding to forgiveness that I spelt wrong. So please
We
forgive
forgive you for
me. Can you forgive me in our
or
highest
or
expression?
forginess sounds a little bit more like a shadow. Your forginess, you're forging things.
Yes, yeah. So please forgive me for my
So
misspelling of forgiveness there. And so looking here, always really interesting again to look at the full mandala. So we've got 4 over here. This is in the Leo energy. It's the quarter of duality. And this is your purpose fulfilled through bonding. And then again, the opposite side. So we have the 49 as well. Did you want me to do the 49? You want to do the 49 on here? How do you want to do this?
you can just run through all this. That's good. And then we'll talk about them in more depth.
Awesome. So yeah, 49 is our earth. So this is the grounding energy that we're feeling collectively right now. Again, that's that Leo energy. This is known as revolution principles, and Karen Curry Parker calls it the catalyst. So the foundation of this, the foundational energy is that yang, then the yin, yang, 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 and then yin at the top. In gene keys, we've got reaction, moving into revolution, and then the highest expression would be the rebirth, the city. And this is in the quarter of initiation. So that's that first quarter where the purpose is fulfilled through the mind. Another nuance there, gate 4 is in the ajna processing, and then the 49 is in our solar plexus. So let me actually share the full thing.
Yeah, because we had a transit this morning that has already moved on. Like when we first went into this, so I'm not sure what time you screenshot it, but
I,
okay, so
yeah,
you
I
did
would
it
love to
after
say I
that.
was prepared this morning. I did it probably about 10 minutes ago.
Okay. When we first started this transit, it was like 2:53 a.m. Eastern time or whatever. And at that point, the moon was still in gate 63. So we started off this transit with that energy of that full channel, which might not have felt like a lot to you, Jess, since you already have that gate to find. But it did make a little bit of a difference. And I'm wondering if anybody else was like me and woke up thinking, thinking, thinking. I woke up with so many thoughts. So, like, had to brain dump.
Mhm.
You do
And so
take out the journal and
anybody,
just write it all down.
yeah, anybody who's not familiar, the 63 is known as the gate of doubt, and that's after completion. So for me, welcome to my world. This is how I wake up, lots of thinking. So I was saying before, so I actually have the full channels, both of these channels, and then the 63. So the 4 for me, how does it feel? It feels weird. Feels weird. I'm going to sit with what exactly it feels like. But if anybody has that opposite dynamic too, there you have the four. Um, yeah, I would love to hear how that felt for you this morning if you noticed having that 63 as well.
Well,
And
and yeah, and just I have a completely open ajna, so that having that channel for a little bit really defines the thinking. And there, although I will say that I've had a few days like that. I know we talked a little bit, was it last week or the week before, where we talked a little bit about the Schumann resonance. And
mhm,
again, it's been off the charts for a while. It's been doing a lot of stuff. Just we're integrating a lot of light codes and things. So
mhm,
really feeling all that. But you know, I really think it's interesting when you start to go into how these gates work together. Because in the past, earlier on, I would always think of them individually. And thinking of them as the programming partners that they are, sure, I would think about my own programming partners because I have in my chart. So my Sun and Earth gates and my nodal gates, because we have them as programming partners. But really going through and thinking of each of these, how these come around to us. So like right now, it's interesting when we start going back the second time around because we did gate 49 grounded in gate 4 energy. And now thinking about gate 4 energy grounded in gate 49. So instead of thinking about um, this principled revolutionary energy grounded in answers and mental solutions, we're now thinking about mental solutions and pursuing answers grounded in this revolutionary, principled energy. And that's very different,
Very.
right? It's
Yeah.
really different.
Yeah.
And um, I think that Jane, I struggled to try to come up with how I wanted to represent this energy that I felt would really give me something to talk about that was worth talking about. I didn't really want to talk about the butcher. I didn't want to dress up as somebody who kills animals or something, that just or cuts up that just didn't wasn't what I wanted to talk about. But I could really think about the polarization of somebody like Jane Fonda.
Mhm.
And you might be a little young to know some of the controversial stuff about her,
Mhm.
but there are still people who despise her because of her activism during the Vietnam War. And it does not matter how many times she has said that in her principled desire to stop the war, she said some things that were really hurtful to some of the vets and whatever, like in the way she said things. She didn't stop and think about how it was going to come across to somebody who had been drafted and had to serve their country in this war. So she has very heartfelt speeches spoke about her regrets of the things she's said, but still standing in the principles of what she's done. And it's interesting the intolerance and lack of forgiveness that some people still cannot have because they are just caught up in this narrative of certainty that they have that comes in this idea of people are good or bad, and they're just never going to think of them in any other way, shape, or form. So, yeah. And even when she said she was never going to buy any other clothes, she said at the time that she was already 80 years old. She's like, I have two closets full of clothes. There's no need for me to go buy new clothes. I'm not saying no one should ever buy any new clothes. But I'm saying this is an impact I can make by stopping my need for consumerism to keep consuming just to feel relevant, right? And that's what still speaks to me because I love to shop. I love to buy some new things. And I have to really take pause and say, is this something I love that I'm going to keep for as long as it fits me and as long as it's still wearable or close to that so that I don't feel like I'm just getting something just so that it can be a fun, shiny new trinket, right? And this gate 49, now I didn't mention, I don't have either of these gates defined in my chart either, but my 24-year-old manifestor daughter with an undefined solar plexus has this gate 49 as the only defined gate on her solar plexus. So you want to
Mm,
try, just think about the energy of this gate and then imagine that being inconsistent
mm.
an all in or all out kind of energy. with a manifester and avoid who is prone to avoiding confrontation.
Mhm.
Like there's so much depth in here for me to unpack. And it's unconscious energy for her. It's her Uranus. So
Oh my gosh. So it's all
her
kinds of
unconscious
layers.
Uranus,
So just
right?
for anybody who doesn't really understand all of that, it's when you have it on an undefined center, it's like that light switch that turns on when it's activated. And then especially that it's on the unconscious side, the body knowledge. So sometimes that's something we're not even aware of within ourselves. So that could be a little bit disorienting if it's suddenly like, yeah, I'm principled, I have these revolutions, I'm fighting for this thing. And then it's like, oh, okay,
And it
no.
comes out of nowhere. And if you use your munchie analogy that you were using before, so imagine you're just this person who is completely unaware that you're hungry. You don't know you have the munchies. And then you come across this thing, the gate 19 or whatever it is, however it's going to come up, this thing that triggers your principles,
Mhm.
and you just hell, you dig in, right? So like it's hangry energy, right? Like I
Yeah.
have the munchies, right? So it's really interesting as I unpack these things and I contemplate the people in my life from the lens of really understanding these in the more deep ways that I do when I prepare for these transit reports and these talks.
Yeah, because that channel of synthesis, the 19 and the 49. Oof, I draw a lot of 49s into my life.
Well, and that's what I
My
was
son.
wondering. I was wondering what sort of dynamic the two of you would have if you met,
Yeah.
because you had got that hanging gate 19 and she's got that hanging gate 49, and just knowing your energies, it would be interesting. And someday we shall have you meet. But
Absolutely. I'm excited.
uh, so just before we get into the cosmic weather, which we'll do soon, um, I love to just read the little bits at the top of Chaitan's thing. So, like for gate 4, he calls it mental solutions, the pursuit of answers. Admitting inexperience with any problem leads to the possibility of finding right solutions for it. Being quick with solutions does not necessarily solve problems or lead to lasting satisfaction because most mental solutions are at best partial and temporary, moving beyond all rejections and reactions. And I was listening to, I listened to both Ra's little description of audio description of this gate and Richard Rudd's um, pause that he sends out. And one of them was talking about how the mind really doesn't solve these things for us. We're looking for the mind to know. I think it was Richard Rudd. He was talking about it. He was talking about just ask your mind to figure stuff out about love for you. Your mind doesn't know anything. That's not how you navigate love. So we're trying to always use logic to navigate things that really are not navigatable. Is that the right word? Yeah, through the mind. And that is really why all of this, especially when we're feeling it through the transits, it's not even ours, all of this has to be put behind strategy and authority, right? Like it's there to bring things to our awareness, but really feeling into our own design. And
Mhm.
I still say strategy and authority all the time, but I really think that is an oversimplification, the way we term it, because strategy, that Chetan Parkin pointed out in a conversation to me, he's like, that's a mind word. So when we say we're going to strategize how we do something, that's about the mind. So
Mhm.
really, and even giving authority to something has to be done with the mind. So really just feeling into our body and how things feel to us.
Well, especially for us as triple splits, like both of us are triple splits. So it's that added, yeah, that piece where it takes, a little bit of extra time sometimes, like getting out in the public or getting out and moving around. And yeah, it's a,
So then you have this really heady gate, and it's grounded in this revolutionary energy, right? This gate 49 is where the mutation is happening. In 2027, the 49 and the 19 are not going to connect.
yeah.
They're not going to talk to each other. And that I have, a lot of us have said, well, this is how the new raves will be born. But I believe that's part of what's happening with all of these things that we're seeing, like on the Schumann resonance, which I might pull up later when we're chatting or whatever. But it is really changing. We're changing as we're releasing karma, right? We're unwinding our karmic threads, right? And you guys can do that with us if you want to connect with our little unwinding group. But as we do this work and we let these things go, we are literally changing our DNA. So I don't think it's a stretch to say we're changing our own body graph flow. I don't know. I'm not saying that is, I'm saying I'm open to that possibility. So this gate 49, the way Chetan talks about it, the revolution, the principles, the rebel, emotion abolishes the old in the interest of supporting a new that is aligned with particular principles. Any revolution brings a wave of change that must be timed rightly and be felt to be practical to have lasting merit. A no reaction evolves to revolution, evolves to the rebel. Gate 49 is a transspecial bridge that attunes with mammals. So we talked about that a little bit when we were talking about the 19. But so any thoughts on that before we move on? I'm going to take my um, coat off because
Yeah. Taking the wool off. Yeah,
oh
so
my
the
gosh.
first thought is for 2027. I know when I first heard about that, because 19 is my son, I was like, wait, do I go away? What happens? Like, what do you mean it's going away? And the way it was explained was beautiful that it's just not going to be coming back into the aura. Like, this is the last remnants of it. And when everybody who has that right now is gone, then it's going to be gone, which feels, yeah, which feels a little bit
That doesn't feel
interesting.
that's not how I've heard it. Now it's interesting because everybody's got their own take on things. So I'm not trying to have any kind of debate about what's right or wrong because I've heard it as those gates will still exist. They
Mhm.
just will not connect.
With those. So this was, yeah, yeah.
1949 will not connect because otherwise what happens is the mandala going to completely change? The I Ching, those archetypes will go away. That doesn't
Yeah.
resonate for me that they would go away. I just don't think that the 19 and 49 will talk to each other in the same way that they do now. They will not form that tribal wave. There will
Mhm.
not be that same. It's like because that's where the agreement between um, humans and mammalians exists, and I believe that that bond is going to change the way it is. So, and there's talk that many people will become vegetarians in that process. I don't know whether that's
Changing
true or
how you
not, but
digest. Yeah. So this was part of Martin Grassinger's talk actually that he did, and he was talking about the new energy with the raves when they're coming in, that they're not going to be feeling like that those needs. You know how that's something that we currently connect in with, that energy of others and their needs, but that's not going to be the energy that they're going to be bringing forth. So I think it's gonna be really interesting to see and notice as these shifts happen, and it's kind of cool to hear from a lot of the teachers where they're like, we don't know exactly what's going to happen, right?
sure. Yeah,
That there
that's my
is
point
like
too.
this, yeah, and that's kind of cool to go move in and see how it feels and what's going and noticing that. Yeah.
And that's, the thing with this gate four, it can really make us feel like we have to figure out what's going to
Give me
happen
the answers.
instead of just, let's formulate the questions.
Yeah.
So are we ready for the cosmic weather forecast?
One last thing, I just want to talk to the 49 real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Where there's this piece of being a victim to emotional reactions, right? So in that 49 where it's like that gate of marriage and divorce, it's that accepting and rejecting. So just really noticing that energy in yourself right now. If there's something that you're just very firm with, I don't want this right now. Like, oh, hold on, interesting. This might be the energy right now, and sitting with that and noticing it. Because it's funny, I think that was something for me. I posted about we went to Costco and how I'm not doing this anymore. Like, where are my values? What are my principles?
What
Because
am I doing buying chicken and waffles for
I
dinner?
bought chicken and waffles. Like, what happened? So for anybody who isn't following me, the kids and I went to Costco last night. For some reason, I guess Costco closes early on Sunday. I don't know. I normally Instacart. So we get to Costco. The lady's like, quick, hurry in. We're closing. And I'm like, okay, awesome. And then I was like, oh, you're closing. Panic, right? The kids are hungry. They're like, I want this. I want this. I want this. All the chaos. We bought the most absurd things. I mean, we came back with a pizza. We came back with chicken and waffles, which
Those pizzas are awesome.
are, yeah, I do. Okay, I do. Yeah, the
It's
pizzas
a
are
good
good.
pizza.
But normally I like plan meals. I'm like, we're going to have broccoli and we're going to have, I have a veggie, I have a meat, and I have like some kind of starch. And there were no veggies. We had chicken noodle soup. We had pillows. We found pillows for some reason. And I think half of that was like Savannah was sitting in the cart and I was like, let's get pillows so you can sit on something. And I was just like, the principles and the revolution in me, I was like, what are the things in your life? What are you not doing anymore? It's like, what are your non-negotiables? And there was like such a surge in me of like, oh my gosh, how did I go to Costco without a list? And I came back with all this nonsense, right? So just seeing, hey, that's kind of funny. Is this showing up for me right now? Am I feeling this revolutionary pull towards something? And you know what? Those chicken and waffles are probably going to be delicious. We'll see though. I think in my mind, I'm like, yeah, but I can make fresh waffles. Why have I bought these waffles? But watch, they're going to be delicious or not. We'll see.
Okay. And now it's time for our weekly cosmic weather forecast, where we bring you the daily line by line flavor of the current transit. Think of this as your energetic weather report, complete with the high chance of fields and a low pressure system of wisdom just waiting to land. Monday brings us the line one energy of pleasure in gate 4 with a mix of the law of necessity in gate 49. The shadow weather, we've got folks tossing out answers like party favors, whether or not the question was asked, and charging into causes that don't actually need a revolution. The gift forecast, clear skies for the patient planners, those who know the perfect moment makes all the difference, bringing the kind of change everyone can feel good about. Line conditions, you'll notice the difference. Some are sprinting toward the wrong finish line, and others are quietly lining up to the perfect shot. The special weather alert earlier today, the moon linked gate 63 with the sun in gate 4, forming the channel of logic for a few hours. Mental chatter and problem solving in overdrive. Mercury also stationed direct in gate 31.3 this morning, so words may be flowing again, but we're still in the retrograde shadow until August 25th. Tuesday brings us the line 2 energy of acceptance in gate 4 with a mix of the last resort in gate 49. Shadow weather. Some folks are setting up their judgment booths early, ready to declare it's time for change without having tried any other route first. The gift forecast is bright and calm for the bridge builders seeing quirks and differences without making them wrong and saving their rally cry for the exact right moment. Line conditions. Expect smoother interactions where patience pays off and conversations feel like they've got room to breathe. Special weather alert, Venus and Jupiter meet in what's known as the celestial kiss today in Wednesday in 39.6, bringing a warm front of connection that could melt even the iciest standoffs.
Celestial kiss. Okay.
Right? Wednesday brings us the line 3 energy of irresponsibility in gate 4 with a mix of the last resort in gate 49. The shadow weather, the I'll help if I feel like it crowd may be drifting through, coasting mentally while throwing in the occasional spark for some chaos. But the gift forecast, sunny skies for the coalition builders, gathering the right people, getting everyone on the same page, and making sure the wheels of change turn together. Line conditions. Group projects thrive today, but keep a jacket handy. Those sudden flare-ups could make things a bit drafty. Special weather alert, the moon moves into gate 42 while Venus steps into gate 53, activating the channel of maturation, a rare mix of let's wrap this up and let's get started. So, from the deeply personal to the dynamically public, Jess, give us the scoop on the upper trigram and how the energy is playing out across the bigger stage.
Okay, so Thursday brings us to the line 4 energy of the liar in gate 4 with a mix of platform in gate 49. The shadow weather. Tall tales are blowing, crafted to make shaky ideas sound like unshakable truth, with some folks stockpiling energy just to make a splash later. The gift forecast. A bright day for visionary forecasts. Stories that inspire and platforms built on genuine values, drawing people in like a warm sunbeam. Line conditions. Some soapboxes will be sturdy, others will wobble in the wind. Pick your perch carefully. Friday brings us line 5 energy. of seduction in gate 4 with a mix of organization in gate 49, the shadow weather. Watch for puppet masters dangling helpful solutions that come with a few strings attached. The gift forecast, clear and crisp for the master planners, quietly arranging the pieces for change that's built to last with the kind of precision you can set your watch to. The line conditions. Conditions favor the architects of change, but watch your footing. Some offers could lead you on winding back roads instead of direct routes. Saturday brings us to the line 6 energy of excess in gate 4 with a mix of attraction in gate 49, the shadow weather. Overblown solutions are floating through big, flashy, and likely to collapse the second the wind shifts. The gift forecast, a strong tailwind for movements already in motion, attracting support, expanding reach, and building something people really want to rally behind. Line conditions. It's a great day to ride the wave of momentum. Just keep an eye out for hype storms that blow over too soon. That's your cosmic weather forecast. Folks, there may be chaos in the weather, but you'll find clarity in your chart.
Thanks, Jess. Radical self-trust is still your best umbrella. Follow your strategy and authority and shine your light, my friends. Okay, so that was kind of a hot mess, but one of these days
It
we'll
was
get the flow of stuff, right? But
revolutionary. It's great. All the
what
changes and we're doing them. I'm excited. I'm so proud of us.
do you always say about doing it messy, right?
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, I had to give up on my and Jane Fonda hair. I didn't mention that part. I was trying to figure out. I have a couple of different blonde wigs, but they were all just way wrong for it. And so then I wound up with, okay, I've tried on 6 wigs hair, and it was like quarter two. So yeah, so this is, I didn't even have a suitable hat I could put on with it, but whatever. Here I am. So it's all perfect. So we are doing this thing now where we have been trying to run through the descriptive energy, and then we like to take the second half to just really talk about how it's showing up, how it's feeling, and even how you felt like this last transit. We had this full moon. We've got the end wrapping up of Mercury in retrograde. So, like, there's all this communication stuff that, although it's starting to move forward, we're still in the shadow phase. And just in general, I would love to hear how you're feeling and what's showing up for you. So, just in general, Jess, other than your Costco incident, how have you been feeling?
Um, Interesting. I definitely this morning there was some energy, but I also just got back from Vegas, so I'm like processing all of that stuff, and I think I have a completely open ego, and so there was a lot of different feelings and a lot of different things that I'm processing from there as well. But I would say this morning there was like a piece of just like it felt weird. Like there was a weird feeling and it hasn't quite landed yet what it is. Some kind of like a shift. And like this for me, because the 49, I have the 19, so this gives me the channel of synthesis and defines my solar plexus. So I think there's a lot of emotions right now that are coming up, a lot of feelings, and it just feels in this moment different, but it doesn't quite feel as revolutionary. Costco last night, I was feeling revolutionary. I was like ready to tackle the world and ready to say, what are we fighting for? What is our non-negotiable? What is the thing,
Right.
you know? um, and then my mind almost feels a little bit calmer in trying to find the answers. It doesn't feel like it's searching as much and it's happy to sit in the energy I'm in right now versus I'm normally like, let me ask the questions, let me dig in. What is, being a victim to almost trying to find that answer?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at your chart. You're still triple split right now. You just have added on the defined solar plexus feeling with not just one, but you've got two emotional waves
Mhm.
defined right now. So that's
Mm,
fun for you. You've got
always fun.
3955, which is my emotional channel. So, and then
Okay,
for,
individual. Okay, yeah.
yeah, so the individual. And then there's me, whereas I have um, everything defined except my sacral right now.
Mhm.
And still just the same emotional wave as always. But I do have And so I'm still feeling like a triple split, but it's a very different split because the head najna is defined for me right now because I have the 64 and we have the 47 as our south node. So I've had that going on for a while.
Mm.
So that other channel this morning was just this additional, like double whammy kind of thing. Right?
Yeah.
But I've got this whole time where the 20 has been activated and the 25, which are, long-term transits. The 20 is being activated by the Uranus, and that's on the throat center. And then we have the 25 that's active on the identity center. And those are connecting up my other, normally I just have the 1/8 connecting my throat and identity center, and then the spleen and the will are defined, but they're all talking to each other with all new ways. So that's been interesting for me, but now adding, and having this still feeling the triple split energy in a whole different way. It's been an interesting thing. My brain has definitely been very active. And even when I'm trying to do this stuff, it getting in my body more, my head gets in my way all the time.
Mhm.
So Lisa, you said this is your design, so we're coming up on your design date soon, huh? Because or is it opposite? No, you said
So I am, God, I forgot what I wrote. I forgot what I wrote
your
in there.
design sun is the 49, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
So okay, so we're the inverse. So you already had your birthday this year.
yes, yeah. So
Okay.
I'm the right angle cross of explanation.
Okay.
And yeah, the four, I think with let me hang on, let me just pull up my chart because then I can see what the hell I'm talking about.
I can relate to that.
Okay. Is it that one? Is that me? Yes, that's so I have two head gates, the 64 and 61, but I don't have the 63. But then I have the ajna, and I have a triple split as well. So right, so four is the only one I have in the ajna, and the four for me just feels. I don't know that I'm really feeling into it yet. When I talk to Richard, I listen to the pulse
Yeah.
on on the 49, no, on the four, because the four is my purpose. um that really hit me today, and I can't tell you what it hit me with, except there's one thing I remember, because I always say, the innate nin line of, we don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are.
Right.
And one of the things that Richard says in the pulse is that we're going to get to a point where we actually see the world as it is. And I thought, fuck, if we see the world as it actually is, that takes away so much crap for people, because then I mean, it is open to interpretation, but it's not really open to interpretation. If we're all seeing the world as it is, right? Because at the moment we're seeing it as we are. So everything is open to interpretation and being questioned and this, that, and the other. But if we all singularly saw the world as it is, I don't think people would know what to do with themselves. I really don't. I think they would be like, but I get off on making trouble, or I get off on just, I don't like that person, and all of those things. And so for me, I just had to sit there for a while and feel into what it would feel like, because I'm with the gate of forgiveness. This, like, it's obviously a constant theme in my life.
Mhm.
And I, like, there's one relationship that I haven't been able to forgive. And I really want to listen to the pulse again, because after listening to it the first time, I'm like, why am I why am I not forgiving?
Mhm.
I mean, it's a relationship with my father. So I know why I'm not forgiving. But the man is 88 years old. Why am I not forgiving? What at the end of the day, what difference does it make?
Mm.
Whether I forgive or not.
Hmm.
There's a bit about, hurting him by not speaking to him. And I don't care about any of that right now. I know it sounds really callous, but I don't care about that part of it. To me, it's always been the principle of the thing.
The 49.
Yes. But if it doesn't matter, then just fucking forgive the man and let him go on his way. I mean, I'm not shuffling him off this mortal coil, but let him just go on his way and the rest of it. And by doing the forgiveness thing, I don't have to decide whether I'm going to see him or speak to him or not. He lives in the States. I'm not in the States right now. I need to make that decision when I come to the States the next time. What I do know that I don't want is I don't want this like whole weekly telephone call thing. Like I have a brother who, and I can't do this. I mean, all the kudos in the people to people in the world who can do this. I cannot speak to anybody every day of the game. My brother speaks to my father every single day. I'm like, no. I speak to my mother maybe once a week, sometimes
Right.
once a month. Like I have object impermanence. If you are not constantly in my thoughts, you are not constantly in my thoughts. So I don't look at it as a design flaw or anything. It just is what it is. But what I can do is, because if I put myself in his shoes, I don't want to be 88 years old wondering why one of my children is not speaking to me. And so the forgiveness is partially for me, although, but I'm happy to give the man some peace. He tried and he tried and he tried, and then I just stopped responding because my inner child was just like, fuck off. Just, I don't want to
Right.
deal with you. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
But if my life purpose is about forgiveness, then oh, it is what it is. If it's not a heartfelt forgiveness thing, my inner child will soon let me know. And then
Right.
she will just back right up and say, yeah, you didn't mean that. You didn't mean that. So for me, it's enough now to forgive him for all of the things, do my unbound, unbound, unbound thing, and actually say with my boundaries that it doesn't mean that I want to speak to you every single week. It doesn't even mean that I necessarily want to speak to you at all. And I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm just trying to be who I am. Because if I try and push myself into doing things, you're right, that 49 just comes through and goes, yeah, back up. You don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. My forgiveness revolution at times is I can forgive, but forgiveness does not imply access. Everybody
Right.
who is forgiven does not get to access me anymore. And I'm good with that now. Before it would be like, oh, I have to. No, why am I gonna slam myself into a door over and over and over again? It's like, yeah, we're good.
At the
We're good.
risk of interrupting, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Have you contemplated your gate 49 as what keeps you healthy? Because gate 49 is your radiance then, if it's your
Mm-hmm.
design sun.
Yep.
How does your reactionary rebellion, rebirth kind of energy, how have you noticed that impacting your health?
When Well, there's so many things impacting my health right now. One of those being the Schumann resonances, and but when I am I'm not that I know a lot of people who when they get time off work, they get sick. Right? It's a weird thing. They'll go on vacation, but they'll get sick every single time because their body's just going, oh. I'm not
Right.
like that. I don't tend to get sick, right? I'm not, I have a few conditions, but they're nothing major for me. They pick up um when I'm in the lower part of my wave before I learned about human design. Now they don't tend to flare up at all. So the 49 with my health, I'm so compassionate with myself now. And at the first sign of anything, I run myself to the doctor. I didn't used to. I used to be like, it'll just go away on its own. And before I knew that whatever was manifesting health wise in my body was something emotional. And now it's like, I got my metaphysical anatomy book and the rest of it. So I'm finding all of the things, all of the connections of how human design and all of it sort of is working together. And you're talking about triple, triple split earlier, and that whole how it takes much longer to come to something because you have to have a conference with three parts of yourself.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, real quick. And for anybody who doesn't know, the triple split, it's where you have defined centers that are not connected to other defined centers. So you have like three different places where you have energy talking to each other, but not together, if that makes sense. So the single is where everything that is defined is connected together. And then the split is where there's like one piece that's missing between, not missing, it's never missing anything, but not connected. And the triple split is where you have three distinct areas of energy that do not connect to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. I'm just laughing because someone asked me the
You
other
have
day.
something you
Like,
wanted to complete about what you were saying there, or others? I was going to show the image of the Schumann resonance for those who might be interested in what we were talking about.
I can't even remember what I was saying because that's I think that things come in and then they go
Right.
out and they don't stay in my short-term memory. So
yeah.
I can
That
relate.
acceptance though and rejection and in your health though, and that makes so much sense. It's that energy of like that marriage divorce where it's like, do I want to marry this into my energy, into my health? Is this something I'm bringing in, or is this something that I'm rejecting and saying no? But sometimes we have that association with rejection that it's bad, but it's not. It's, am I allowing this access to my resources, like you were saying with your dad? That you get to forgive and simultaneously also have that boundary, that rejection of like, you don't get full access to my resources. And that's like
yeah.
a really beautiful example of what this energy is. And then,
Mm-hmm.
feeling that in your body, which can sometimes take a little bit with that triple split, because again, it's not all like always communicating, but it's a beautiful way to experience it as well.
Yeah.
That you can see it in three almost like distinct different ways.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I like that access. They don't get access to my resources.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Yeah.
I'm
So
gonna use that.
this is
Yeah.
the current Schumann resonance, well, not
Mm-hmm.
residence. I keep trying to say that. And I have no idea how to read most of this. And I did just listen to her talk this morning. The person you told us about last
Yep,
time,
the galactic soul.
Galactic Soul, is a very helpful thing to follow on Instagram. But she was talking about how the white represents, I think she said that's like the stuff that's coming in, and the
Mm-hmm.
red is, I might be remembering this backwards. Red, I think, is the releases, or is the green
Could
the,
be.
I don't know. One color is stuff coming in, another is like releases, and
And then the other color is integration.
integration, right? And so you can see we have all of that going on a lot. And like when you have a day like where there's a little bit less white and red in here, there's a little less. And I've actually found that I am more energized on these days, whereas some people will say on the days where there's a lot of white and red, they're like wiped out and on the ground. So
That's
I
me.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, I would love to track it, and I should start doing this with myself and maybe anybody else who's in. I'm wondering if it has to do with like, I get energized maybe because I have this undefined sacral that could amplify all this energy that's coming in. Whereas, if you already have a defined sacral, maybe
Mhm.
it's making you tired. I don't know. That's just a theory I have. I don't know
Hmm.
what any of it really means. I just know that there's a lot going on, and
Do
this
you need the answers?
I don't actually.
No, I'm
And but,
teasing.
no, I know, but I'm just clarifying. I don't. And there was a time that people would. It's so funny because I often ask a lot of questions in my posts and in my things, and it's interesting how people often try to give me the answers, and I don't really like think that any answer usually is encompassing it all. So then sometimes I might feel argumentative to some people, but I just think that it's the answers are bigger than what we can really um, understand. But this is kind of all this stuff that's been happening the last few years, and right now, super intensely with all this energetic stuff going on with the Schumann resonance and all the solar flares and things that are happening. This is the mutation, I believe, where we are changing. And that's why I was talking in the beginning where I'm saying, I don't think it's just going to be that people are born different. I think we are actually mutating, and I don't think everyone's mutating, but I think people who are doing the work, who are slowing down, not just pushing through and stressing out about it all, but just trusting that it's happening for us. I feel
Mhm.
like that's anyway.
It's
Yeah.
it's another overlay to the puzzle,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I
Certain.
look at everything I learn as just an overlay. And when you can make connections
Mhm.
to these things, it helps you understand yourself and the energy. Because it's all about the energy part of it. It helps you understand the energy of humanity better. And also knowing that I don't know what it's like for people who aren't going through it. And I also don't know what it's like for people who don't have an inner monologue. Um, my inner monologue is a lot quieter than it used to be, because my inner monologue used to be looking for the answers to every question, but now it knows that it's not its purpose to find the answer to everybody's question. And even some of my questions, I'm like, do you really need to know? Is this going to support you, whether you know this or not? And if I don't, then I can drop it, which then makes the monologue inside my head less and less. It's like we can take the things that really matter and then look at those. But I used to have to find the answer right away, immediately, immediately, immediately. And now I'm just like, the answers will come to me when it's the right time for them to come to me. And if it's not the right time for them to come to me, they won't come to me.
And then you said you have the 64, right? So with that 47 right now, you have that channel of abstraction as well,
Mm-hmm.
which is a design of mental activity. And I
Mm.
know mine is very loud. It's
Mine's
constantly that stream of, but just getting to know that it's there and just feeling it and going, oh, okay, yeah, it's doing it.
Yeah, mine's not that loud anymore, because and I think it's a thing that I've learned with myself, is that I used to like be in so much conflict with myself
Mm.
that it was like I was self-flagellating.
Yeah.
But I'm not in conflict with myself
Yeah.
anymore. So most of the time now, it's like, you know what? The energies, you want to get together? Not today. Okay, well, another time when you're ready. And then so the voices will come and they will go, the monologue will come and it will go. And I'm really happy with that, because I used to have to put on the radio to drown out the voices in my head.
Mm.
Because when you're trying to solve your problems and the world's problems, even though nobody asked you to do it,
Yes, yep,
that's a
yep,
really hard life.
yep.
Thank you for listening.
Oh, yeah, thank you for
Um,
sharing.
So I think it's interesting, Jess, that your that channel for you, the 6447, is what we're really unpacking because we spent so much time doing the unconscious moon and now which was your 47, right? And then as we're going in, now the next thing we're doing in the unwinding is the south node, and that's your 64. So we're really getting into your head with this stuff. Okay, well, Lisa, I don't think we actually ever really officially introduced you. And when I put these on YouTube, it doesn't have our little names there. So Lisa Payne, thank you so much for your input and for always being somebody who shows up for us. We appreciate you. And I think it's time to sign off unless anybody has any closing words of wisdom they feel like need to share. No?
Forgiveness. I think that would be a good place to put something about forgiveness in the group this week. Let's take a look at that. Yeah. I think that fits.
Tolerance, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tolerance is part of that. So,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, we'll have to think of a good little post. I always like these follow-up conversations when we have them in the group. So if you're listening on YouTube, it's the Facebook group Intuitive Human Design. We'd love to have you join the conversation there, but you can put things in the YouTube comments too if you're not a Facebook person. No judgment there. We forgive you. Just kidding. All right, peace out, everybody.
Bye.